My name is Idaresit, and I am an under 40 CEO.
The African Renaissance. The concept that the African people and nation shall overcome the current challenges confronting the continent and achieve cultural, scientific, and economic renewal is here, with young men and women taking the lead. Some call them the new school heroes. We call them under 40 CEOs.
Idaresit considers himself an expert and a leader in the field of technology, marketing, and business. His past successes have been as a result of passion, commitment, and being a firm believer in Nigeria and the African continent. From building technology businesses to enabling organizations succeed with technology, Abbas has been at the front line advocating, building, and funding to drive early adoption in the field of marketing technology. Abbas is a graduate of London School of Economics, where he got his bachelor's degree in information systems and management, and his master's degree was acquired from Manchester Business School. He has been listed by Forbes on the list of top 10 African Internet Millionaires to watch, and in 2014 he was invited to France by Choiseul amongst the only 10 Nigerians researched and engaged at the 100 African Economic Leaders for Tomorrow. He runs Wild Fusion Group, a leading digital marketing firm with head offices in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to Under 40 CEOs, Idaresit.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so now I looked up your CV.
Okay.
Found that you spent 8 months at a firm and then about a year and 2 months at another firm. Now, you left in December. January, Wild Fusion was born. What about entrepreneurship just makes it attractive for you?
It's about building something, building and watching things grow. Think of it like your Lego toys as a kid. Those little pieces of colored toys, you put them together and you build a castle, you build whatever you can from it. And it was quite an interesting experience as a child. So being able to build something, it's what actually drives me, being able to move something from the state of, in a small stage to a stage that is more advanced and beautiful. So that's literally what drives me.
Roy Digital, Wild Fusion Digital Center, and Wild Fusion as some of those companies within your group. Now, tell me about your current business structure.
So Wild Fusion Digital Center, it's set up to address the problem in the market in terms of capacity building, in terms of improving the knowledge of digital marketing in Nigeria, most especially, because there is this challenge of capacity. Do people really understand how to use this technology? Do people really have the ability to use this technology? The answer is no. So that's why we set up the Wild Fusion Digital Center, and it is a local center of the Digital Marketing Institute of Ireland, the very first local center in sub-Saharan Africa, outside South Africa.
Wow.
So people can actually come in here to take their training and then get their diploma from the Digital Marketing Institute of Ireland. And in the past 1 year, we've trained well over 100 people. This includes the banks, this includes FMCGs, this includes PR companies, and it's really exciting what these people can do when they're empowered. They've gotten back to their businesses and they're beginning to apply this technology, beginning to apply this concept and this capability, and they're beginning to see real success. Every single day we have people ringing us back and saying, guys, man, this works, this works, this works.
Now, I know that education is one of those courses that you're particularly passionate about. With the opportunity, what would you do differently to improve education?
I think first of all in life we are presented with opportunities on a daily basis. I don't have to wait for the opportunities to come. I take the opportunity. So right now with where I am, I took the opportunity towards improving our capability and our education in this country by setting up the Wild Fusion Digital Center, which offers an international certification in digital marketing, a diploma in digital marketing. And this is the same diploma that you have to pass an international exam to be able to be awarded a diploma. And we've gotten well almost 100 people trained and awarded this diploma. So this is our contribution to improving things in the local market. As regarding if presented with an opportunity, I would rely on technology. Technology can do a lot more than what it's currently doing for this country. Technology can take education to places that the traditional model of educating the society cannot go. We can have educational content on mobile devices. If we have the right infrastructure, we could be able to get this content to even people that would previously not have access to content like this. So I would rely heavily on technology, and I would let that drive my educational strategy.
Now, what's your typical day like?
My typical day, interesting. My typical day is sitting in meetings. I am a very hands-on person, so I want to know what's happening around the business, sit in meetings, sit in client meeting. So it's very easy for me to sit in a client meeting for an hour and then walk into a business development meeting in the next 30 minutes, and in the 2-3 hours later, helping resolve a problem with the operational guys. So it's what I do other than my CEO function.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
So back to digital. Would you say that digital media has become a threat to traditional media?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say digital media complements traditional media. Let's roll back a few decades, 50, 60 years ago, when the radio was initially introduced. People actually felt it was going to be a threat, and when TV came out, they thought it was going to be a threat to radio, but it never did. It complemented the radio as a marketing and an advertising channel. So I think digital, it's a complementary channel to the existing channels of marketing and advertising, and if integrated properly, will enable any strategy or any brand to deliver on its objectives.
Beautiful. Now, I know you're a well-traveled man, and I would like to ask, how has travel and interaction with diverse cultures, helped in shaping and adding value to your person?
It's very important, extremely important. If you have to be traveled, you have to travel around the world if you can, and you need to get to understand how things are done, other culture, because the more traveled you are, the more informed you are about people, about places, about way of life, the more open-minded you are to new ways of doing things. And I think it's very important for every growing child. I think it's very important for everybody. If you look about hundreds of years ago, some of the civilizations that did very well were the ones that traveled the most. So think of the Phoenicians. Think about Vasco da Gama moving from Europe all the way to Asia. Think about the wealth of knowledge he came back with. Think about, the world is littered with civilizations that grew and societies that became better because they had explorers and they had travelers. If they didn't have travelers and explorers, then there are also cases where society have gone extinct because it didn't interact with the outside world. So yes, it's very important for everybody.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
Abbas has worked with diverse stakeholders across Africa and built a leading advertising digital agency, creating unique experiences and opportunities to engage customers while delivering return on investment for clients. As a market leader, Abbas says Wild Fusion will remain in the front line, driving innovation and delivering on quality service while increasing investment and commitment to technology, business, and Africa. However, I'm sure that even he has had his fair share of challenges doing business in Africa. I will, however, not just presume this to be true. So, as a CEO and entrepreneur, what are those key challenges that you've had to overcome to make the strides you've made so far?
There are a number of challenges every day. As a matter of fact, I've lived my life every day battling challenges. Africa and Nigeria, it's one of the world's most difficult business environment, but also it holds great rewards for those who can brace and overcome the challenges. One of the biggest challenges I've faced is with infrastructure. and that's both human infrastructure and physical infrastructure. So having to build having to provide your infrastructure for yourself, having to generate your power, having to train your staff, having to empower your people with the capability to deliver for the client. You have to leapfrog all these challenges to be able to succeed. And I definitely do agree with what a lot of people have been saying. If you can succeed in this market, you can succeed anywhere.
Now, I know there's loads of aspiring CEOs who will be watching, who may be watching right now, who think, looking at you and think, this guy has always had it good. And now you're talking about challenges. Now, have these challenges gotten you to a point where you have been deep down in that valley, feeling miserable, like, how did this happen to me? Have you ever had one of such experiences?
I've had many of such experiences. So the thing about profiling entrepreneurs, it's you tend to hear about their successes, but you don't know that these people have gone through a whole lot. Like, I don't know about Dangote's failure, for example, but I do know that that man has gone through a whole lot to get to where he is. And if he tells you his story, and if he lets the world know, you'll be very, very amazed at what he's gone through. So I've had my downtimes. We've made some blunders, we've made some mistakes, we've lost lots of money, we've lost projects, we've invested in other markets, and we've had challenges in those markets. There's so many things that if we were to rewind or turn back the hand of time, we would probably do things differently. So yes, we do have our downtimes and our valley moments.
Okay, how would you describe your leadership style?
My leadership style, I would want to say it's more collaborative. I want to talk to people, listen to them, and I'm a team player. I want to work I'm very open to being in a team, and I like to hear other people's contribution and how to solve a problem or to move things forward. So I would say my leadership style is very collaborative.
This is Under 40 CEO.
So what are those values that are really important to you and your firm?
Quality of service, it's very important because that is what makes that's what makes you stand out. That's what makes a product or a service to stand out. The quality of the product and the quality of the service. So that's very important for us. We must, in our industry, remain and constantly innovate because it's technology, it's digital. You must be at the forefront of always innovating, becoming better, becoming smarter, delivering more value to the customers, and also maintaining that top quality. So those are the key values.
Now, talking about delivering value to your client, what are you currently working on to deliver value to your client?
So we're looking at partnerships, we're looking at data, we're introducing data, we're working very closely with lots of data, modeling this data and trying to make sense out of this data to be able to help our client make better decisions and also to reduce the cost for the client. I can't go into a lot of details because some of them are very strategic and confidential, but data is definitely the future.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
The Huffington Post once had a headline for one of their articles that read, "How a Nigerian internet startup grew revenue from $250 to $1 million in 3 years." That startup was Wild Fusion with Abbas at the helms. How would the CEO of such a lean startup advise startups to see? Okay, now this is a common question all these kids want to know. They have this amazing idea and they need to raise funds for it. How do they go about it?
My suggestion would be start small. So if you're sitting in front of someone, you're not meeting someone that has money and you're telling him or you're taking him through a business plan. Show him I've started something without any support, and I've made some traction. If I have extra resource, I've done X. If I have extra resource, I will do X, Y, Z. As opposed not doing anything and just walking up to someone and saying, hey, I have this fantastic business plan. Trust me, if you read through it, it will blow your mind away. It is the next thing after Facebook. I would suggest do X, and then when you meet him, you're asking for A to be able to get X to Y.
Okay, where do you hope to take Wild Fusion to over the next 5 years?
And innovative, we would also remain focused on delivering value to our customers and our client. Would also be would be a business that is socially responsible and would definitely invest in technology. So what that means is we will continue building proprietary technology built by Africans for Africa to solve Africans' marketing problems.
I've asked about your challenges, I've asked about your failures, but you have tactically avoided giving me a scenario. But what is your biggest letdown in your industry, your career so far?
My biggest letdown. I mean, I've had a few. I've had a few letdowns. Letdowns from partners. Letdown from even clients. Letdown from. I mean, I've had quite a few. One of the biggest challenges I've had is in all the markets. So yes, Africa is a continent, but it's also a diversified continent. So you need to take into consideration those realities in each of the local markets. So yeah, and we've learned from that in different ways.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
Abbas is young, driven, and successful by every standard. So what does he do when he's not digitizing the continent of Africa? I am keen to find out. I've got a few quickfire questions for you. What do you love to eat?
I love bananas.
What's your style?
I love high street fashion.
What CEOs do you currently look up to?
Admire Dangote.
What car do you love to drive?
Love to drive my Audi.
Your favorite travel destination?
The beautiful island of Zanzibar.
Your favorite book of all time?
Hannibal by Jacob Arbott. And I do also love Lord of the Rings by Tolkien.
What book are you currently reading?
Hannibal again.
I would like to ask, I feel it's a very important question. What makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Yes. So family makes me happy, friends make me happy, and I love to read about business and technology. It just makes me happy.
All right. Thank you for coming on Under 40 CEOs.
And having this great time with you, Mike. Good to see you.